Burgess here with Music Marketing TV. Today we're going to be making a beat with Subcraft. You have heard it in the intro. So Subcraft is a bass synthesizer. It has a kick layer, it has a bass layer. You could control properties of the bass down here with this little faders, and they give you the ability to control like the glide, stuff like that. There's a color effect to just spice it up, and you could choose different ones. And then there is the kick layer, which allows you to pick the kick. And then there's a bunch of really neat things, like there's some randomization abilities to just create new sounds. Like we'll just randomize this one. And there you go, you got a brand new kick to work with. Or another. You could go back if you liked what you had. And there is a pad in the middle with variations that you can move around just sort of randomly. Some of them do a lot, like this one does, and sometimes they're a lot more subtle. You can also randomize these by changing the shuffle amount over, and now it will just affect this. And so that's Subcraft in a nutshell, just really great bass generator. So let's go ahead and pick one that we like. Let's look at a couple presets. I like this one. There's also some pitch moves built right into it. So you'll see down here it says pitches, and you can click one of these or hit it on your keyboard. Or the notes G, F sharp, and F, and it will do a pitch bend. I like to do my pitch bends generally myself, and there are glide controls for the bass inside the bass control. So that's typically where I like to go. So let's go ahead and set our tempo. I'm going to go for a tempo of around 70 and try to come up with a cool pattern. Okay, so we're gonna run with that. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the MIDI here. Things are pretty on. I'm just gonna nudge things a little bit closer. You could quantize this stuff as well. Let's try giving it a longer glide. Make it a bit bigger. That's a really nice toggle. It is resizable down here, but this is actually like way more handy than I ever thought. It's really nice. I wish more plugins had this like size toggle thing. Let's see if we can tighten that up. I feel like it's just not as tight as it could be. Maybe somewhere around there, I think, is the sweet spot. So we'll go ahead, we'll run with this. I'm gonna come up with some kind of an atmospheric layer. I'm gonna also assign this to something, and since it's a sub, I like making my basses black. It looks so cool. We'll go ahead and move this up. Okay, we got a few good ones in there. Let's take a quick look and clean this up as well. We're gonna go ahead, take this, Control X, Control A, delete everything, and paste in our glorious result over here. Control D to deselect, Control V. Okay, and we'll do that twice. You Control G to group them if you want to. We'll call this like main art now. And okay, so we got our synth. I think we could add some verb and stuff to it. There's an ambient section right here. Let's try just pumping the reverb up some. There's some different ones in here as well. Chapel's usually pretty long, right? Oh, there's Stadium. Tends to be brighter though. maybe outer space. If we're gonna do that though, let's go to the mixer. I hit Control L out of habit. The assigning things like this is cool, and I've been doing that a lot more, but I still occasionally will hit Control L. Let's create a hole in there for our other stuff. We also don't need the low end for this, so we'll just high pass it. It'll make it sound thinner, but that's fine. It'll leave room for other things. Next, let's just do 2. We'll focus on a single loop like this. I tend to make it longer for room for recording. Next, let's look at adding a kick. So we're gonna go ahead and clone this. So you right click it and hit C. We'll make a clone. Let's go ahead, choose a different effect. Let's really reduce the bass and make the length like really short. So it's mostly just a kick. We could sub it. Support it, bring in a sub for extra support. Let's find a different kick. That one's pretty good. Let's see if we can get a nice distortion on it. What do we got here? We got filtered. Wow, some of these names are crazy. Fancy saturation. Maybe. We'll see. And let's go over to the kick and just put it on the same pattern since it's already there. And let's also give this its own track. And we'll separate them out later if we want to. These might need to be a little more lined up perfectly. We'll probably pick a different kick. Let me find one. Ah, that one might be it, actually. Understated. Just adds some nice texture, you know? We could try moving this around. I'm gonna add in a couple other drum parts, but before I do so, I'm gonna come up here and with this pattern selected, I am going to choose to split by channel. And this will give you the ability to split them up. So if you want them separate, you can have them separate. So now we got them separate. I actually missed the last one. I hit the table, but that kind of worked. It worked out. Let's take a look here. Just make sure our hi-hats are good. I'm just going to clean them up a little. Okay, we'll work with that. Let's try the other one too. I'm just kind of curious. Shift down arrow to move by a single note. Handy tool. That might be a bit better. This one, I'll stick to my nudging things by hand method. Hold on, let me clean it up. All right, I'm gonna write in a bunch of other stuff, just using a bunch of these like extra sounds just to make it more interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna write that stuff in. I love that. We got to put that in, right? So let's go ahead. Let's just make it like a misc perk channel. It's just going to have all the random percussion stuff. Let's find a good spot to put it. I'm going to add a few filters and things to these front sounds to make it more of an intro. I'm using Effector with the flanger on the intro. I'm gonna look for another sound to go with this one, maybe something that's got a little bit more of a melody. Okay, so I've done a few things. I've done some mixing, brought the levels up, added a limiter, so it's going to be quite a bit louder now. And it sounds like this. I think I might add a piano. We'll jump over here to the kick coming in. And here, it'd be cool if these had some big bends, right? So let's go ahead and see if we can do that. And then also, before I forget, let's add that piano. UJAM has a pretty cool piano plugin. Here it is. Very nice. If you don't play, there's also like a player engine. Yeah, I haven't looked into this very heavily, but it looks pretty dang cool. I'm just gonna go with the instrument for now, and I just want to layer it in as a layer for our lead. So I'm gonna copy this, paste it in. I'm gonna give this its own spot, but it'll get the same color since it's doing the same job. And yeah, it'll just be called the piano layer or whatever. That's totally fine. Something else I didn't mention is I'm now processing the hi-hat and the snare separately out of Beatmaker. They're kind of far apart. I could put them closer, but I left it far apart on purpose in case I wanted to use something else. So to do this, you come in here and you select the sounds you want to use the individual outputs. I click it, I go to individual, then I come up here, I go to processing, and I hit auto map outputs, and this will put them on their own outputs. So I could figure out which one of these is the hi-hat and move it to be closer, but they'll be offset from wherever this is in the mixer. So the hi-hat's pretty far down the chain here. And so the drums are right here, so it's appearing way over here. For this reason, you probably don't want to use anything in between. And once I have all the sounds I'm pretty much going to use, and I'm sure I'm not going to grab any more from there, I'll probably make the effort to put these closer just to avoid these big gaps. But that's what that is, if you were wondering about that, or actually you didn't know. There you go, that's how you can do that. So let's hear this with the piano. I'm just kind of curious. Let's make these a bit louder. It works really well as a layer. Yeah. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted. I wanted to add some bends to these. These aren't very bendy right now. It's, I want it wah, 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 wah. You know the sound. So let me really quick figure that out. There's always the classic pitch automation. So let's try that. That might honestly be the best because I have what I want. For this, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it with an automation curve because I don't know. There's two ways we could do this. The first one is we come in and we edit event and piano roll. So with this, yeah, so let's activate that, edit events and piano roll. So now we have channel pitch down here, and it's got a range of 12 semitones. So I'm gonna scoot this off to the side. I'm gonna mute these because we don't need them. Alt-click will mute. And I'm just gonna do set a value. Make sure your range is the full range. So each one of these is like a semitone. I don't know if this is gonna be too much for one. Right click to get continuous change. Yeah, this is gonna be better. And I like doing it this way because you could use automation. I like doing it this way because you get it baked into the pattern, which is pretty nice. And then for this a little bit over here, you can come up here to the delete tool or middle mouse click, and then delete Or is there no way to solidly set the 0 value? I wish there was. That's close enough. Now we can mess with things individually. We could even do different pitch amounts and stuff. Cool crap. Maybe we go back up to the next one. Yeah, something like that, maybe. I don't know. The going down's pretty cool. We'll leave that as is. There's one more over here. I'm not sure if it's that important for this one. We could do something with the last one, have it randomly higher. And again, you left click to set value in a block, but you can right click to draw these like more fine lines. Yeah, that kind of does a thing. Let's try one here as well. Sure, why not? It makes it more interesting, I think. Let's hear it in context. Okay, and then we'll repeat this twice, and I'll call that here. So there you go, a beat with Subcraft. Let us know what you think down below. I'm really curious what you think of Subcraft. The theming's super on point. I actually think they did a great job with this one. Subscribe, like, and all that good stuff, and have a blessed day.